What if one of the best safeties in the entire NFL wanted to wear the red and gold? Sounds like a dream, right? But it might be closer to reality than you think. Justin Simmons, four-time second-team All-Pro and longtime Denver Bronco, recently sat down for an interview with Kay Adams. And let me tell you, what he said raised some serious eyebrows around Chiefs Kingdom. When asked about where he might land next, Simmons didn't flinch. He showed nothing but respect for Kansas City and didn't close the door on the idea of joining the Super Bowl champs. That's huge. Simmons talked about wanting to compete for a ring. He's made his money, he's earned his stripes, but now he wants a legacy. He wants to win, and there's no better place to do that right now than Kansas City. But it wasn't just lip service. You could see it in his tone. He admires the culture Andy Reid has built. He respects how Brett Veach handles the roster, and he clearly sees Spagnuolo's defense as a system he could thrive in. Add to that his desire to be part of a real championship push, and yeah, this feels real. Let's do a quick poll right now. Would you want to see Justin Simmons wearing the Chiefs jersey this season? Drop an S in the comments if you're all in, or a P if you think we should pass. And while you're at it, hit that subscribe button and ring the bell. We're on a mission to hit 4,000 subscribers, and your support means the world to us. Seriously, it helps more than you know. Now, if Simmons is actually serious about this move, it's not just about hype, it's about fit. So let's talk about why this might be the perfect match, both on and off the field. All right, let's talk football, not just wishful thinking, actual X's and O's. Because when you look at the way Justin Simmons plays and what the Chiefs' defense asks of its safeties, this could be one of the best fits in the entire league. Let's start with the basics. Steve Spagnuolo loves versatile, high IQ defensive backs, guys who can disguise coverages, rotate late, blitz off the edge, and take away tight ends in the red zone. That's exactly who Simmons is. He's a true field general. At 30 years old, Simmons brings not just talent, but leadership. He spent years commanding Denver's secondary, calling adjustments, communicating with corners, and keeping everyone in check. Imagine pairing that brain with Spag's system. That's a recipe for chaos, for opposing offenses. And look, Simmons isn't just a thinker, he's still a baller. Long, athletic, rangy, he's the kind of safety who can cover sideline to sideline and make quarterbacks pay for even the slightest mistake. And when it comes to takeaways, he's a magnet for the ball. More on that in the next chapter. But let's get back to this idea of fit. Right now, the Chiefs have a solid young duo in Brian Cook and Shamari Connor. They're tough, they're growing, and they've shown flashes. But throw in a vet like Simmons, suddenly you've got a complete unit. Brains, brawn, and depth. And let's not forget intangibles. Simmons is a high-character guy, community leader, great in the locker room, the kind of player Veach and Reid love to bring in. He wouldn't disrupt the culture. He'd elevate it. Now I want to hear from you. If you were Spags, would you make Simmons your starting free safety? Or would you rotate him with Cook and Connor as more of a situational weapon? Drop your take in the comments. And while you're at it, smash that like button if you're loving the idea of Simmons in KC. Let's aim for 500 likes on this one. Can we make that happen? All right, now that we know the fit is perfect, let's break down the facts. Coming up, the numbers that prove Simmons is still an elite safety in this league. Okay, Kingdom, let's dig into what separates hope from hype. Cold, hard numbers. Because if you're wondering whether Justin Simmons is still playing at a high level, spoiler alert, he absolutely is. Let's rewind to 2022. Simmons tied for the league lead in interceptions with 6 picks in just 12 games. That's not just solid, that's ball hawk territory. And we're not talking about lucky tip drills here. These were clean reads, smart breaks, and clutch plays in big moments. Even last season, with a late start and a new scheme in Atlanta, Simmons still managed 2 interceptions, 7 pass breakups, and 62 tackles. He gave up just 210 yards in coverage across the whole year. That's barely over 13 yards per game. Try moving the chains with that kind of shadow on your slot receiver. And here's another nugget. In 2023, quarterbacks had just a low completion percentage when throwing Simmons' way. He allowed only 16 completions all season. That's basically one catch per game. You can't ask for better consistency in the back end. Let's talk value too. According to SpotRack, Simmons' market value right now is a one-year, $5.78 million deal. For a four-time All-Pro and a two-time Pro Bowler, that's a steal. It's almost Veach's signature, those affordable, high-upside veteran signings. Now, Chiefs fans know what losing Justin Reid meant this offseason. Reid was a stabilizing force, but Simmons could be even better and cheaper. Slide him into that starting role, let Brian Cook and Mike Edwards handle rotational duties, and suddenly you've got a deep, versatile, and battle-tested secondary. Question for you all. If you had to rank Simmons' potential impact in KC, what would it be? A, B, C, or May? Drop your grade in the comments. Also, real quick, should Kansas City offer Simmons a one-year prove-it deal or try to lock him up for 2 years? Hit us in the poll up top. Bottom line, the tape matches the numbers, and the numbers scream impact. Coming up next, we'll break down the Chiefs' safety room and how Simmons could completely shift the dynamic in Spagnuolo's defense. All right, Chiefs Kingdom, now that we know Justin Simmons has the talent and the numbers, let's talk fit. Because it's not just about signing a big name, it's about making the puzzle pieces click. And in Steve Spagnuolo's defense, Simmons could be the missing one. Let's start with the current safety room. With Justin Reid now in New Orleans, there's a big hole on the back end. Right now, the Chiefs are leaning on Brian Cook, second-year guy Jaden Hicks, and recent signing Mike Edwards. Not bad pieces, but none of them have Simmons' experience or his ball-hawking ability. Now, Spags loves to run three safety looks. He's used that rotation to disguise coverages, blitz from odd angles, and confuse quarterbacks, especially in playoff games. If you drop Simmons into that mix alongside Cook and Hicks, you've got a versatile, aggressive trio that can cover, tackle, and create turnovers. Think about it. Cook brings the thump. Hicks is growing into a rangy sideline-to-sideline guy, and Simmons? He's the vet with elite instincts who can play center field or roll into the box. That combo gives Spags a play-calling playground. And don't overlook Simmons' leadership. He's respected across the league, not just for his play, but his work ethic and locker room presence. For a defense still growing its identity post-Tyrann Mathieu, adding a voice like his could be huge, especially with so many young DBs stepping into bigger roles. Here's another bonus: depth. Last season showed how critical it is to have multiple capable safeties. Injuries can shake things up fast. With Simmons in the fold, you're not just getting a starter, you're building a cushion. This move wouldn't just be about patching a hole, it's about upgrading. Even with Reid gone, the addition of Simmons could actually make this group better, and it gives KC flexibility heading into the draft. You don't have to reach for a safety if one doesn't fall your way. Now let's hear from you. If Simmons signs, who should start? Cook, Hicks, Simmons, or Edwards? Drop your ideal trio in the comments. Next up, we'll wrap it up with final thoughts on the Simmons sweepstakes and whether Veach is really ready to pull the trigger. So Chiefs Kingdom, after all the buzz, analysis, and hypothetical lineups, we've got to ask the real question. Will Brett Veach actually sign Justin Simmons? Let's break it down. First, let's look at the money. Simmons' market value? $578 million for a one-year deal. That's a classic Veach-style signing. Short-term, low-risk, high upside. We've seen this playbook before. Think of names like Carlos Dunlap, Jerick McKinnon, or even Mike Edwards, veteran guys with gas left in the tank who signed cheap and made real impact. Veach knows how to build smart. He's never reckless, but he also knows that this team's window is wide open. The Chiefs aren't rebuilding, they're reloading. Every move has to be about stacking the deck for another Super Bowl run. So, Does Simmons fit that strategy? Absolutely. He checks every box: talent, experience, leadership, and affordability. Plus, he wants to win and wants to come to Kansas City. That's a big deal. And let's not forget, this isn't just a player coming from some random team. This is a guy who spent nearly a decade trying to stop the Chiefs. If Simmons flips sides and joins the kingdom, that's a major storyline. Broncos fans would hate it. Chiefs fans, we'd love it. But here's the real X factor: timing. Simmons made it clear in his interview with Kay Adams that he wants to sign sooner rather than later this time. He wants to be involved from day one with his new team. That means Veach has to move fast if he wants him in red and gold. So here's your moment, Kingdom. Drop your takes in the comments. Should the Chiefs sign Justin Simmons? Type S for sign, P for pass. And if you've got another free agent target in mind, tell us who. Who's your dream pickup? One thing's for sure, if Veach pulls this off, the Chiefs' defense goes from solid to scary. And that's exactly what you want heading into a season where nothing short of a Super Bowl repeat will do. All right, y'all. Hit that like button if you enjoyed today's breakdown, and subscribe for more Total Chiefs content every week. Let's ride, Kingdom.